Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast, Fresh Off the Set. My name is David Osmond.
And I'm Elora Murray, and we are back. This episode is actually really fun for me.
This is a special one for you, I understand it, right?
Yes, because I get to talk with Kamille Cox, who is, her and her mom own Melkit, which is a skincare company. And I have known Kamille since, I think, third grade.
No kidding.
Yeah.
No way.
So third grade, her and her mom, and she talks more about the story in this, but her mom created this skincare and she created it for her kids. Her kids absolutely loved it. Kamille convinced her mom that this was a product worth selling. And they are just this dynamic mother-daughter duo who I have known pretty much, almost my whole life.
I love that story of being able to create a business together as a family like that.
Yeah,
and you've seen it happen from the beginning.
I remember them talking to me about it. I remember when it was like first, getting its legs, and her mom was asking me things. And honestly, and she talks a little bit more about why they wanted to have like natural oils in their skincare and why they created this skincare. And even more than the product itself, they talk about feeling comfortable in your own skin, which I think is something that everyone can relate to.
Sounds like there's a story behind the story. Like there's a lot more to their passion, but why they started it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is such a great interview. And Kamille is so fun to talk to. So what do you say we take a listen?
I can't wait. Yeah, this is cool. This is new. Congratulations. I can't wait to listen.
Hello. I am sitting here with Kamille, who is the CEO and co-founder of Melkit. And honestly, I have to tell you too, I've known Kamille since I was in, fourth grade?
I think even before that, maybe third grade when we came together.
That is so nuts to me. That's been like how many years? 20 plus?
It has been, we started together, we were lip syncing together, pageant shows. We had such a fun friendship. We were performing all the time. Yeah. And look, here we are.
And now here we are on a podcast, and we're talking about your amazing company that you have with your mom, skincare. Honestly, I wish this was being recorded because your skin is flawless.
Oh, you're so nice.
That's one of the reasons we're coming in. We had you come in to talk to you about skincare, to talk to you about entrepreneurship. So let's start off with, what inspired you to start your own skincare company?
Well, it was, was it like 15 years ago? I'm losing track now at this point. But me and my mom had just read a book about like how hormones in our food and the chemicals in our skincare is affecting our health. Yeah. And she and we were looking all over the market being like, where can we find something that's clean that we can feel good about putting on our body? Because your skin is your largest organ. Yeah. So essentially whatever you're putting on your skin is getting into your bloodstream. And you think about like birth control, nicotine patches, that's how that works. So as we were looking, not only was there not a lot to choose from, but there weren't products that you could choose from that were actually effective and that gave you amazing results. So my mom was on, even before doTERRA, my mom was this essential oils enthusiast. She loved them and she studied them, and she started to mix some of her very favorite 6 essential oils and created the most beautiful blend. And she gave it to all 6 of her kids. Then we gave it to our friends, and she was hand mixing this pretty much for the entire community.
That is so
it really took off. So then it was okay, I was in LA at the time. I remember running out of her face cream, going to the store looking for something comparable, and there was nothing. I was like, Mom, we've got to get this out to the market. Yeah. And thank goodness she didn't, because 10 years later, 6 babies later, I had to kind of wait for some capacity, but I was like, Mom, we really got to do something. So we started to create the brand about 4 years ago, and I just feel like there's such a need and a space. Skincare is so saturated. It's such a saturated market. But are we getting the type of skincare that is clean and that is giving you effective results and can be used without doing a 10-step process?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And you mentioned this, and I want to talk about it. You said that skincare is saturated. I feel like it has just exploded over the last several years. All of a sudden, everyone is worried about their skincare. Because I remember growing up, the biggest concern I ever heard, even when I was in college, is if you had acne, and that was it. But now skincare is so huge. How do you stand out?
Oh my goodness, exactly right. If you go on Shark Tank, they immediately are nope, that market is so saturated. We're not taking any skincare companies.
Oh, wow.
So how do you stand out? I feel is making it clean, plant-based, I think utilizing Mother Nature and the wonderful gifts and properties that we have from her, and letting people feel really good about putting it on their skin, their kids' skin, their family skin, and then making sure that those properties from Mother Earth are giving you desirable results. It's like this balance between the two, because I think you're right, it's exploded. Like now too, like you see all these stories of young girls, like it's becoming like a phenomenon with them, and it's like such a trend. So it's like, let's make sure that we're teaching these girls not only like simplicity and, you know, not overdoing it, but let's teach them how to use good, clean products that are good for your health.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so now let's talk about skincare. Okay, so we've talked about what we should put on our skin. Are there any ingredients that we should be like, oh, I want to avoid that?
Yes, there's so many. There's so many. And it's amazing because if you don't know how to read a label, whether it's food, like skincare, anything, you don't realize what is in there and like what's harmful and like what really is disrupting your hormones and other health. Like I truly believe to be healthy, you need to be very, very aware of what you're putting on your body. And, you know, I started to care about this when I started having kids because, you know, for me, it's like one thing. But then I'm like, oh, wait, so I'm choosing this choice for my kids, and how is this going to help their kids? I mean, affect their health. And so you want to avoid ingredients like parabens, sulfates, synthetic fragrances. I always mess up this word, phthalates, because it's spelled with a PH, for crying out loud. Make that hard word. But those can irritate your skin, and then they can disrupt hormones. And so you think of these young girls who are putting stuff on their skin, and they're starting to go through, you know, puberty and things like that. Like, we need to be aware.
And honestly, I mean, like you said, I didn't start thinking about what I was putting on my skin till maybe, you know, several months ago when I realized I was pregnant. And my mom has always really been into natural ingredients when it comes to your skin and other things like that. And she started asking me, she was like, well, are the skin products you're using natural? And I was like, oh.
Right? And, you know, it's kind of the beautiful thing about, like, you and a human, because you're like, well, if it's just me, whatever. But, like, I want to do good by the people that I love and who it's affecting. You know? And so I think it shows who you are as a person. Like, then all of a sudden it clicks, like, no, this matters. I want to know what's going on.
Oh, it absolutely did. And it's like, and I want him to be like, I want to be as healthy as I can so he's healthy. And then when he's born, I want to keep, I remember even messaging you when I found out I was pregnant. I was like, yeah, you came out with a kids thing. My baby boy's going to love this.
Yes.
And I wasn't worried because I know that you and your mom focus so hard on that. And so talking about skincare routines, lots of times, you know, I get on Instagram or TikTok and I'm getting ads, especially because I've been looking at it. And lots of times there's like 7 steps in a skincare routine.
So overwhelming.
So how, like, what is too many steps? How many steps do you actually need in a skincare routine?
You know, I think it's hard because some people just love the routine. You know, like it's like a nighttime routine that they have fun, whether it's essential or not. You know, I think it's relative to all of us. Yeah. But really, I think you need to be able to clean your face from like all the pollution and dirt throughout the day. You need to be able to clean it. And then, you know, a lot of people say a toner, but really just, and then like a good moisturizer. Yeah. Of course, you could go 10 steps. We could create a product, and there are products out there for 10 steps. But as far as like the essentials, it is cleaning and moisturizing. Because that moisturizer is going to get in there and it's going to protect your skin barriers, keep the pollution out, and, you know, heal whatever it hopefully is made to heal. For example, with our skin cream, we have 6 essential oils, and those essential oils each have incredible properties of reducing inflammation, helping with redness, helping with moisturizing. I mean, I could go on forever, but that's what's so cool about our cream is that it tackles a variety of skin elements.
I love that. Well, and I've seen your before and after pictures of some things, like even like baby skin. That's like, they have like a bit of redness, they're having some issues, you know.
Eczema,
and then you use your product and it's like, oh my gosh.
Absolutely. So like ours, for example, like it helps with sunburns, eczema, cold sores, like bug bites. My dad always keeps some, like as soon as he gets a mosquito bite, he'll put like it's hilarious. Like psoriasis, dermatitis. Like we have been amazed at how much it helps with. You know, it's funny at first, if people are just coming off of something else, like they'll kind of almost break out, like just for a second. And I'm like, you're body is detoxing. Like, do you realize the type of chemicals and things, like, it's trying to learn, like, give it like 3 days and then they're like, oh my gosh, you were so right. Like, sometimes I think when you are trying a new skin product, give yourself some grace, and especially if you're trying to go in the clean, you know, path, give it some time and some grace before you like give up on journeying clean, you know?
I mean, because I have heard from a couple of doctors that I have seen, and obviously I'm not a doctor, but lots of times, like you said, you're detoxing, like there's actual crud underneath your skin that's like coming out that was always there because of the products you were using. So now that your skin is happy, it's getting rid of
Totally. Because, and I was like, I really stand by our product because I've been using it for 15 years, and I just know, like, it's clean and it's letting my skin breathe, and it's truly healthy. You know what I mean? Like, we're not just treating a symptom. It's healthy because it's clean all the way through.
And like I said, I mean, I have seen your before and after pictures on your Instagram. I'm sitting here across from you, so I know that your skin looks fabulous.
Thank you.
So what if someone, I mean, this is like skin basics 101. What if someone doesn't know if their face is like oily, dry, etc.? We hear that stuff all the time. How can someone know?
That's so true, yeah. So throughout the day, like, if your skin is tight and feels flaky, then your skin is more dry. If your skin seems a little bit more shiny, maybe you have enlarged pores, then you're probably more oily. And then, of course, you can have a combination skin. You can have both of these. So you may have some areas of dry flakiness, and then you might have some areas of oily. And then also, depending what's going on with your hormones, if you're pregnant or not pregnant or breastfeeding, like, sometimes that can kind of mess with that too, you know, for a little bit. So sometimes your skin can shift depending on what's going on internally. But I think our skin does a good job of telling us where we're at health-wise on the inside.
I think that's so true. And I have noticed, obviously, since being pregnant, my skin is changing. I have hormones. But I always notice, and I don't know if there's science behind this or not, my skin is always the worst around Christmas when I am eating.
Oh, there's science with sugar.
I'm eating all the sugar, all the cheese, and I'm like, what's going on with my skin? I'm like, oh, it must be because it's snowing now.
Yes, it's the snow.
Which I'm sure weather plays a part in your skin, but really, like, what you're putting on your skin and what you're putting in your body, you know, it really affects your skin.
Oh, for sure. And absolutely. The snow does affect it. Like, our harsh Utah dry weather is so harsh. Like, the wind burn, it is. That's a really, very, very real thing. But the things we eat too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I just think overall health, it just shows through. But yeah, no, the weather is real. The weather, it's very different. Like, the people who have results from winter weather and summer, like our cream, it's helping with sunburns and things like that in the summer, and bug bites and scratches and wounds. But then also in the winter, like, just how dry and harsh, and the wind burn and stuff like that too.
So we were talking a little bit, obviously, like I mentioned, like I'm so excited about your product because I'm going to use it on my little boy. Why was it so important for you guys to have products that could work with kids?
Oh, I mean, that is, for me, I don't know about I guess my mom was a mother at the time, but for me, it's like when we have these new babies, like I always say to my oldest, like, you changed my life in every way, because all of a sudden I wanted to be a better person. I wanted to grow, like, in every aspect. So when you think about that in a skin wise, it was like, oh, is this good for her skin? Is this harming her? Is this like fixing just a symptom on the outside? Like, what can I do? Is there anything out there? Because I want to do good by our kids, like with your baby, you know, like, you're just like, what can we do to put there? So we knew we needed a clean product. And you think of the kids skincare line out there, there's not a lot. Like, you got Johnson's, there's a couple other ones that are coming out, but I noticed even some of those clean stuff was almost more drying. So it kind of goes back to that. I'm like, is it clean and effective? Because now we have a lot of cleaner products, but is it helping anything? You know?
That's a big thing, because I've tried so many clean things. Like, all of a sudden, as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I was using clean deodorant, which wasn't that effective. So some of my poor coworkers.
Exactly.
I was like, this clean deodorant is taking me some time, and it doesn't work. And I've had, like, clean shampoo, and I've had to, like, kind of go through things to be like, yes, it's clean, but does it work?
Is it fixing the problem that you're looking for? Totally. So that is the balance. It totally is. So it's like, there are so many clean products out there now. Yeah. There was even more than there was 10 years ago when we started. But it's is this helping and like giving me the results I wanted? And that's what I noticed when I was in LA and I ran out, and I think I went and got like La Mer. It's like a $300
it is expensive,
and it still didn't even touch that. I was like, Melkit was so much more hydrating to my skin. And once I've given this to like close friends, and I'll see them like a week later, they literally do have like a glow about them. Like I really, truly, I know this is biased because it's funny, but I'll be like, but like you could tell like it's now like their skin is happy. Like, you know, when you look at someone, you can tell if their skin's happy.
Yeah.
You know, like there's just a glow.
I love it. I love that. Happy skin. That's what we want.
Happy skin.
I want to talk about this a little more because this is one of the reasons that I find you so inspirational is not only did you create this product for kids, but you did all of this while growing a family of 6 kids. What is it like, you know, being a mom, creating this product for kids, running this business, doing all this while you're focusing on, you know, what's most important in your life, your kids? Like, what is that like? How do you do it? Because it's just like so inspirational to me.
Oh, thank you. You know, because we started when I remember exactly where I was. I was like, Mom, I'm going to help you do this. Let's do this. And I was pregnant with my 4th. And so I've had 3 babies since we've started.
Yeah.
And it's been such a challenging, humbling, beautiful process. But I have to say, like, whenever people ask me, like, what was the hardest? Is it hardest going from 4 to 5, you know, 2 to 3 kids? And I'm always like, it was always hardest from 0 to 1. Like that learning curve of like, okay, what do you do when they cry? What do you do when they cough? Yeah. You know, like, is this normal? Is this not normal? Like that was huge. And maybe because I'm more of like a type A personality, you know, like I just have to know.
Google right now is my best and my worst enemy because anytime I feel anything, I Google it.
Absolutely. So it's like, so you're just with that first one, like the learning curve is big. So I was like, after I figured that out, I mean, and I'm still learning constantly. Of course, nobody's figured out parenting, right? But after I kind of got through some of that, then I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. So now it's like piece of cake in that sense. But with the business, I always look back at that first time with the baby, and I was so kind of consumed with like, this is so much. Like if you had told me with my first baby that I would be creating a company from scratch, and gonna have 6 kids during that, I would have been like, you're lying. That's crazy.
So like, no,
there's no way, because I was just like, this is so hard. So I look back at that experience and be like, you know, it just goes to show you that you have a capacity and you should have goals, and you just step by step. And then I feel like God blesses us with capacity and more growth as you just continue to follow along and like grow through that. Because like I said, after the 1 kid, I was like, there's just no way I could do both. And then to try to find that balance, because motherhood, that's my dream job.
Yeah.
Since I never, if you would have asked me when we were in 6th grade, I would have been like, no, because I want to be a mom.
Oh, I remember my mom even knowing that because you just had your 6th just a little bit ago. And I remember my mom, because we've known each other like most of our lives, my mom was like, Kamille has always wanted to be a mom.
Yeah,
she's always wanted to be a mom, and she's like, and she's so good at it.
So nice of her.
And then this company popped up, and we were like, whoa, how's she doing all this?
So yeah, I'm like, that's my dream. I'm like, that's what I was meant to be as a mother, and that's the job I take. That's my number one. That's what I take the most serious and the most love and the most joy from. Absolutely. So that always is my number one. But then I have been shocked. I have been, and I'm sure with technology and the world we live in, I'm like, this has been so fun to not only show that my kids, like, hey, you can be a mom and be totally invested and totally be there for the kids, but learn to challenge yourself in other ways and find whatever that mission is that you're here to do on this earth. And because through this process of building a business, it has been so challenging, so humbling, but also so empowering. And I've done things that I never thought I could know how to do. So I'm so grateful for that. But so I guess to sum up the whole answer, it's just like, just one step at a time, focus on what you're learning, and then look forward to the future with goals. Know that there's like no ceiling, like there's nothing you can't do. And you know, we have like hopefully 100 years on this earth, and how many times you get to restart over and grow. Like there's never too late. If I would have been like, oh, I have 3 kids, I'm 30, whatever. Like I hear that way too much. Like, oh, I'm already 30. Like, what do I have to look forward to? Like, no, like keep starting over. Jennifer Lopez was in the Super Bowl halftime at 50 years old. All right. Like there is like, we still can dream forever, whatever.
I love that. I love that you said that, because I always think about, it was last year. I think it was last year when Rihanna performed Pregnant.
Yeah, she's so fierce.
And
right?
I was like, being pregnant now, I'm like, I am having a hard time, you know, getting out of bed because I've pulled muscles already. I'm like, Rihanna did that. I'm like, man,
Maybe the next pregnancy. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like you focus on this first baby, the next pregnancy, you signing up for the Super Bowl, you know?
I mean, who knows? Like, we never know. So speaking of family, speaking of your kids, your mom is so great.
She's so great. I mean, she's the whole reason we have this company is because of her following her inspiration, you know, and moving forward with it.
So what is it like working with your mom? Because I mean, just talking with your mom, I'm like, she's the best.
She's the best.
So what is it like working with her?
Well, for me, you know, I won't speak for her how she feels about working with me because that might be very different. But working with her, I mean, I think business and family can be, I've heard of just, I'm sure we've all heard of horror stories, but it has been really fun to get to work with my mom. I think there's a type of trust there that's like so beautiful. And then you're also very aware of each other's gifts and like what we each bring to the table, and I think it's been so fun. Like I said, I've heard so many awful stories, and getting to do it with my mom has been really special, and especially because I'm the only girl. Like I have 5 brothers. I think it's been a really cool experience. It's like very female empowering, bringing us together as women, and I think showing, and hopefully my daughters and my nieces showing them like you can start a business. You can have kids. You can be a mother and a business owner. Like, it's beautiful. You know, like
well, you're both doing it.
Oh, I mean, and like I said, she is the whole reason behind it. Like, I'm just so grateful that she followed her inspiration and mixed these together with her incredible knowledge, and she's kind of let me take the branding on. For me, but
well, which I remember, oh gosh, this was years ago. I was working at a different job. I was working for a beauty company, and your mom was talking to me. We were at church, and she came up and she was like, I'm starting something, and she was like, I'm the one who's coming up with the product, and Kamille's going to do all the marketing. Like, her talking to me, she knew you guys' strengths. And I didn't know what was going on, but I was like, well, this sounds exciting.
We'll see what happens.
No, well, I now look at it. It's just like, it's boomed.
Yeah,
like,
it's been so
people
fun.
absolutely love it. And I think, I mean, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I feel like one of the best things about being in the skincare world is making people feel good in their skin.
It's so true.
So what do you like? What do people say? Like, how do you feel when people come up to you and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you changed my skin. You changed my baby's skin." Like, what does that feel like?
Oh, it's the best because the world we live in right now, we want instant results, and with the filters and then just the constant plastic surgery, like there's no judgment, no shame, absolutely on that. But I mean, to just feel good in your skin for who you are, you know, like your skin is such a big deal. It's like your packaging, right? So it's like to feel really comfortable there, to feel sexy, to feel like just to let confidence exude through your skin it's so beautiful. I mean, that's how we came here, right? Yeah. We just came in our birthday suit. So to give people, to help them on their journey of giving them the gift of the skin that they came in and finding confidence and just feeling happy in there it's very empowering. It's very special.
I love that. I feel like giving someone the gift of confidence is huge.
Yes.
Because that's life-changing. Because when you have confidence, you can't be stopped.
No, totally. And we were just talking about this. We're like not, just before this podcast, we're saying like not finding validation elsewhere and really just being so happy within is one of the best gifts. If we could just teach us all to feel that way, like don't care what anyone thinks, just care what you think and just be so happy in your skin. I'll just keep saying skin. Is really special.
I love that. Okay, so we talked about this a little bit. What if there is like specifically a female entrepreneur out there who has an idea or something like that and is afraid to get started? What would you say to them?
Oh my goodness, I would say, I totally feel you, girl. Because that is how it feels. Like, it's so daunting. Like, so for me, when we were kind of going about gifts, and I think the way life, how it evolves, like I look back, I went to college, I was a cheerleader in college, and then I loved graphic design, was always really good with videos, started there, but then I like quit halfway through, went to school for, became an esthetician.
Yes, I remember
in
this.
Cosmetology, and then when I finished that, I went to LA and I did modeling and acting, and so it's so funny because all my little turns that maybe some felt like a mistake or not, they actually all gave me tools to do what I'm doing now. Like my graphic design, that's what helped me start the branding because I knew enough to like do a website and do things like that. My knowledge with skin and being an esthetician, and then modeling and all that too. So it's all come together, and I'm just like, sometimes it's like have faith in your journey and know that like through all the twists and turns that there's purpose, and that we're picking up tools throughout our life, and that you're not, if you look at the full picture, I always bring this up. I love this book. It's called The Mole, the Boy, the Fox, the Horse.
Oh my gosh, yes, by Charles.
Love that
I think
book.
his name is Charles McKay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying that right. He's British.
Yes, the book's amazing. I gift it to everyone because the beautiful art. It's such beautiful art. It's every quote in there is
I share those quotes on Instagram.
Yes, you do.
Like probably every week.
Because they're so uplifting and they're so empowering, and everybody can relate to them. Like it's amazing. And one of the things is the boy's looking at the forest and he's like, oh my goodness, like I don't know how I'm going to make it through, but we have to go through. And the horse, whose wisdom is like, well, can you see your first step? And the boy's like, yes. And he's like, just take that. So instead of looking like I want to start a business, this is how I'm going to do this. Because for us, it was like, how do we find a manufacturer and reproduce this? That was extremely overwhelming. How do I find a brand and then trademark it? I hate lawyer stuff, legality, finances, all that. But just do the next step that you know you need to do, figure it out, and then the next step. Don't think about every single thing you have to do. I feel like in life in general. Another analogy I think is like, how do you get from Utah to New York? Well, and it's like in the middle of the night. Well, you just have to follow what your headlights show you. The next like 10 feet, the next 10 feet. And that's how we get through this life. And so I would say that is the exact same type of attitude with starting a business. Because if you feel inspired and you feel excited about it, keep going. And guess what? There's going to be about 5 million roadblocks that are going to make you want to give up and keep stopping. But if you know it's something that you're supposed to do, you got to be resilient, patient, and I think having just a lot of faith in yourself that like, you know what, I'll figure it out.
I love that. I mean, I know that you run a skincare company, but if you ever think about, becoming a life coach or
It's so nice.
something like that, I think you'd be great at that. Well, Kamille, it has been an absolute joy to talk to you. But before we wrap up, we do this thing called the Fresh Five, where we ask our guests like 5 random questions so we can get to know you personally.
Okay, yes.
But I keep them to myself. And then I ask you, don't worry, they won't be hard. So your first question out of the Fresh Five is, how do you start your morning?
Prayer. My number one. I start with prayer. If I don't, I notice a huge difference in my day. Not for good.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll be like, what went wrong today? I'm like, oh my, something was too rushed or something to not say prayer.
Absolutely. All right. Number 2, what is a hobby that you've like always wanted to try, but you haven't gotten around to it yet?
Oh, that's such a good one. Off the top of my head. I want to like knit.
There you
Is that the weirdest? Me and my daughter have been talking, like, I want to like crochet. My grandma had made these incredible like crocheted hot pads.
Yeah.
And then my husband like left it in the oven. It's been destroyed. It's so sad. But my grandma's passed on now. It's not like she's going to knit me anything.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I want to make those.
I think that's great. I think that's a great hobby.
No, I
think that's a great answer. Okay, this next one, really easy. Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner. I cannot eat breakfast. I kind of been intermittent fasting before it was like a thing. I was like, oh, so that's like what people call it.
Yeah.
Never loved I love breakfast food, but give it to me at lunch.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been a big, breakfast, I always would prefer to have dinner food over breakfast food. And my husband's the exact opposite.
Oh, that's so, yeah. I feel like it has to do with our upbringing. I mean, really, I'd love lunch. I have a giant lunch every day, and I don't need breakfast or lunch.
I love
or dinner.
lunch. Love lunch.
is the best.
I'm glad we're on the same page with that. Okay, this one's a little deeper. What is your proudest accomplishment?
My proudest accomplishment is my children. Like, they are my work and my glory, and they have brought the most fulfillment. They have taught me the best lessons. They've helped shape me into hopefully a better person. Hands down, not a question.
They are so cute.
Oh, thank you.
They are so precious.
They teach us constantly. I'm so grateful.
And you both are the cutest parents ever.
Oh, you're so
all right,
thank
this last one. I had to put this in because we grew up karaokeing all the time. No, we didn't we weren't like 4th graders going out to clubs. It was in the comfort of our own homes.
I don't know. We did a big 6th grade party. It was Taylor's 7th grade. We performed for them. My husband was there. Christian was there.
Oh, yeah.
But and it's crazy because I'm so tone deaf. You could sing.
I can sing if someone next to me can sing. That's why whenever I'm in musicals, I'm in the ensemble. Because I'm a dancer first, and I can sing if someone's next to me.
Yeah, you're talented. That made sense for you. For me. But, I have no shame. I still karaoke all the time. I could not be the worst singer.
So what is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, geez, you know what? We karaoke so much at home that I've kind of been switching it up because I realize how awful I am at a couple of them. Because I want to be Whitney Houston so bad. So bad. Oh, but could I be worse? So I think it used to be Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do with It? And I think now I need to go more on the male route because I'm probably what do you call it? Not an alto?
An alto is the highest of, no, alto is the lowest
Yeah,
of the
I
female,
think-
and then a tenor is the highest of the male,
Oh,
I
okay.
believe.
I'm like, I need to stick with the boys. So I think now I'm going to start doing, what's it? Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
I think that's a good
Cheers for
choice.
Fears. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Love it. I'm like, great. I mean, my go-to karaoke song is a Mel song. My go-to karaoke song is Somebody to Love by Queen. And I
that's great.
definitely don't sound like Freddie Mercury.
You do.
It is an insult to the
Queen's a
man
good
himself.
Queen is so good. You can't go wrong with Queen, right?
I love it. Well, Kamille, this has been so much fun. I could have talked to you all day. Thank you for being with us, and thank you everyone to listening. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.
Congrats, you made it to the end. If you want to continue to freshen up your day, you can watch us on Fresh Living every weekday on CBS Channel 2 in Utah at 1 o'clock. You can also watch us on our YouTube channel, KUTV Fresh Living, and follow us on social media. We will see you next week.